Hello there. You guys seem to enjoy the last tactics focused video I did, so I figured we'd try it out again. This time with the High Elves versus Tomb Kings. Gonna be another live battle that I commentate in post, so you can see the micro and my decision making as it happens in real time, and we'll discuss the good moves, the mistakes, and the things I choose to focus on when I'm playing multiplayer. So, Pompous Knife Ears versus Egyptian Skelly Boys is pretty interesting. There's a lot both sides can do in terms of army composition to try to get a leg up before battle is ever joined. And I have a Phoenix Guard core here with Bolt Thrower support, 2 Silver Helms, Tyrion, and Sunfang, and a Heaven's Caster with Wind Blast, Harmonic Convergence, and Curse of the Midnight Wind. Phoenix Guard, of course, are the noble, bright, silent guardians of the Shrine of Azurian, and in their spare time, they love deep-dicking Tomb Kingers. They are a hard counter to the undead. There is not a single Tomb King's infantry unit in the game that stands a chance in melee against them because they're bonus versus large and AP too. They also wreck constructs. There's a lot of reasons to bring them in this matchup, and the big one is they kill everything the Tomb Kings have to offer. On the flip side, Tomb Kings are widely considered one of the strongest and most well-rounded factions in the game at the moment, so they still have tools for dealing with Phoenix Guard. And the meta right now revolves around that Casket of Souls. It's a powerful unit in general, but I'd argue it's the best option they have because it can make entire regiments of High Elf infantry lose their martial prowess in only 1 or 2 volleys. And it forces bolt throwers to focus on it, where unlike other artillery, it can't be destroyed until it, actually runs out of HP. Even if it only has 500 health left, it's still killing at peak capacity. So yeah, really good overall. But it kind of opens up some interesting mind games with the builds you can employ here, because High Elf players know Phoenix Guard give Tomb Kings fits, Tomb Kings players know the Casket of Souls gives Phoenix Guard fits, and so occasionally you won't see either unit because each player is going for the element of surprise. In this case, we're just butting heads. Phoenix Guard versus Casket of Souls. And I think you guys know why Wind Blast and Sunfang are so important here. Tomb Kings don't have an infantry unit with an armor value over 50, I don't believe, which means wind spells from the flank, like the one I just dropped, completely posterize them. It's not even fair. Tomb Guard can lose like 70% of their HP from a good Sunfang cast. And Tyrion does not have noble or aerial support here, no Great Eagle, no Phoenix, which can be really good to run alongside him to ensure he wins his duels against the powerful single entities, but obviously we have limited funds, so with heavy emphasis on Phoenix Guard, I've skimped in other areas, which could get a little scary, because while Phoenix Guard are great for killing someone like Cetra, or that Tomb Scorpion if they can pin them in place, they have to get blobbed up around it to deal damage, which opens the door for the Casket to rain hell from above. There's an intricate balance to be struck there, and it's not always easy to do so. And already, he's moved his Casket of Souls out of range of my bolt thrower, so I had to focus on Cetra and the Necro attack with them. Tyrion is committing to melee. There's a Curse of the Midnight Wind, Harmonic Convergence, and then a Desiccation from Cetra to counteract both those spells. Cetra is on his Chariot of the Gods, and you cannot afford to ignore his dueling prowess on that chariot. He has a ton of speed, a ton of mass, and a ton of health with a massive charge bonus, and he can give himself bonus versus large with Overcast Cursed Blades, so not even remotely a foregone conclusion for Tyrion in a duel between them. I let him get on top of my bolt thrower a little bit too easily there, but this entire battle, I was trying my hardest to avoid blobbing around Cetra. Don't want to see my Silver Helms get deleted by a single good strike from the Casket, and my build isn't incredibly mobile while his Chariot is, so defending the bolt throwers isn't super simple. The idea is really just to punish him whenever he decides to commit, and Tyrion and Malhandir are quite solid in that role. The Silver Helms are getting focused down on my right flank by the Ushabti Great Bows, and so I'm saying, well, let's keep them in reserve for now. I cannot commit to go kill that Casket. Even if I did, the Silver Helms would get torn up by the Ushabti Great Bow fire when they surrounded. So instead, I'm focusing on my back line and getting good Sunfangs off with Tyrion. Those poor Tomb Guard just got shreked as the Ushabti summon comes in, and that's a good use from Cetra. He's trying to pin Tyrion in place. He knows that one of his best win conditions is to take out the leadership and the AP that Tyrion and Malhandir offer, and getting him surrounded with statues while Cetra wails on the heir of Anarion might be his best chance. Couple big issues for my High Elves at this point. For one, the Tomb King's infantry should already be crumbled. If I had cast my first Sunfang earlier and invested maybe one more Wind Blast into the front line, all the skeletons would already be gone. and I'd have 3 free units of Phoenix Guard to start focusing on the threats that really matter, like the Necrotect on the Chariot, like Cetra, like that Tomb Scorpion. The other issue is that the Casket is still free to fire with impunity, which can severely punish my Keepers of the Flame as they start going to work on the constructs in this blob. Another Curse of the Midnight Wind going down, trying to debuff, and it looks like the Necrotect on the Chariot is getting pretty close to life support. 1 or 2 attacks from Tyrion should be enough to finish him off for good, but Cetra and the Ushabti are doing their best to block my path. The Bolt Throwers are making a big impact here, killing off a bunch of the Ushabti Greatbows who chased a little bit too far to get in range of my Bolt Throwers. He knew he needed to kill them because they were dealing a lot of damage to his army, but he kind of chased them into some Phoenix Guard. Bit of a misplay there, but all of his important stuff is still online. And I saw my Phoenix Guard, and this has happened multiple times this battle. You've seen me pull my Phoenix Guard out of melee. Like, they're gonna win. They're gonna crush that fight. But the thing is, if they're getting a little bit too blobbed up, gotta pull them away and get into spaghetti lines so the Casket of Souls we kind of mitigate some of that artillery damage that's coming in. Tyrion just got very low. Looking back on it, I actually maybe... Yeah, that was a wasted harmonic convergence. I might yeah, I'm not going to charge back in. That was a waste. I think I kind of panicked and saw Tyrion was getting attacked and thought I might have to commit, but I cast it and then ended up just not even committing him to melee. So obviously, don't do that if you can avoid it. He is charging in now, and he does have his Heart of Avalorn, so with a good proc here, we might just be fine. But the Mage is committing to melee against Cetra. We're going to pop all of our buffs. Jaft's Incantation of Cursed Blades is on Cetra. Tomb Scorpion stomping over as well. The Necrotect is dead, and boom! Heart of Avalorn procs, and we're right back into this game. Was looking a little bit scary, but that's why you buy that on Tyrion. It's obviously an extremely good item, and it means we don't have to commit to Earthblood or Regrowth or even a Lore of Life Mage, and can instead focus on the DPS against the Tomb King's front line, where that Wind Blast comes in, which has been pretty impactful so far. Biggest regret is that I've only been able to get 1 Sunfang off this game. Like I said, if I casted my first Sunfang a little bit earlier, might have already gotten a second one and freed up my Phoenix Guard. Cetra is a couple hits from death, maybe 1 hit. The Tomb Scorpion is still alive, but if Cetra goes down, which he does on his Chariot of the Gods, that will be a huge swing on the balance of power, and that is going to be a concession from the Tomb King's player, realizing he does not have what he needs to take on the rest of my army. Tyrion at half HP would have been a nightmare for everything remaining on the Tomb King side of things. He was running low on his Ushabti Greatbow ammo and just didn't have the tools left to deal with the remaining Azure forces. So, looking back on it, I needed to invest a bit more of my micro time into getting good Wind Blasts and Sunfangs off. Putting Tyrion's ability on cooldown immediately so I could get multiple uses would have seen more damage against those Tomb Guard and the Skeleton Warriors earlier, which then means the Phoenix Guard are able to get free. I definitely did get some good casts that game, but not nearly as many as I should have, and that exposed my Phoenix Guard to shots from the Casket of Souls for longer than necessary while they were fighting the Tomb Guard and Skeletons. The other side to that, though, is that I was able to cast Curse of the Midnight Wind and Harmonic Convergence more in the duels, which kept Tyrion alive for longer and helped him outlast Cetra and that Chariot of the Gods. So ultimately, that trade-off might have been worth it. There are a few tools in the Azure arsenal that might have been extremely useful here. Sisters of Avalorn provide more guaranteed damage against constructs, because the whole might of the unit can be brought to bear with their volleys, rather than only a few Phoenix Guard models actually stabbing their quarry at any given time. But of course, they're more fragile and are more prone to being tied up and run through in melee. Probably a good idea to pair them, the Sisters of Avalorn, with a Light Mage and Net of Amantok rather than Heavens, if you want to get a ton of value out of them. An Eagle or Phoenix would have also been extremely useful here to put some pressure on the Casket of Souls. Could probably drop a Phoenix Guard unit, and then you'd have a Flaming Moltres who can help goon out the weak to fire characters like Cetra or the Necrotect, and have the option to swoop into the enemy backline to snipe out the Casket if that opportunity arises. For the Tomb Kings, I'll be honest, I didn't love the Necrotect pick. Having heals for the Scorpion is nice, but that's a lot of money spent on a character that just isn't very killy or damage oriented at all, even on a Chariot. And it's not like this was a construct-heavy army, so I'm not sure Necrotect was really that useful. I think that money could have been spent better elsewhere with some additional mobility. Even a few Carrion or a few Nahakaran Horsemen, some combination of that would have forced me into making some tough decisions, put more pressure on my back line, and would have all but ensured my bolt throwers fall silent at some point during that battle. But there's also a lot to be said here for a Tomb Prince running alongside Cetra. Imagine how scary a goon squad would have been with him and Cetra dueling back to back with the Blade of Setep and the single target debuff the Prince can cast when he gets low in HP. I'm not sure Tyrion would have survived that, and that would have left the Phoenix Guard isolated and then at the mercy of cycle charging and casket play come the late game. I think a big part of that game was whose Lord was going to come out on top, because Cetra might have had a field day if Tyrion was the first to go bye-bye. Overall, I thought the build was good. The Casket of Souls was absolutely the right pick. The Ushabti Great Bows to kind of dissuade my Silver Helms from diving into his back line was also very smart. And they got some good damage in for sure. But I think a few changes in the Tomb King's build could have seen a different outcome. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want to see some more of this, let me know in the comment section below. And I'll be doing some games probably with Eric Krasnik or Falcon or some very high-level competition soon, and we can break down some of those games as well. Peace out. I'll see you in the next one.